the functionaries first, and then we will go to the meeting, start the meeting. And as for the benefit of, there's no new members. I think there are some new members. So for the benefit of our new members, the meeting is divided into 3 sections. Actually, it's 4 sections right now. So the first section is prepare speech. And today I see we don't have any speakers. Steve, do you have any? Steve, you are muted.
There's 2, myself and Solmaz.
I see. Yeah, sorry, I don't see it on the agenda. Yes. So who is the first speaker? Laura is
I am.
the first speaker, and your speech is 5 to 7 minutes, correct?
Yes.
5 to 7 minutes. And who will evaluate your speech?
I will be evaluating.
Great. Steve will evaluate that. And Somas is you are the second speaker, correct?
Yes,
Is your speech 5 to 7 minutes?
that's correct.
Great. And who will be the evaluate for your speech? Sean, great. So now we have the full agenda now. So before we start the first prepared speech, let me introduce our functionaries. I can't run this meeting with our functionaries. So when I call the functionary's name, please explain your duty tonight. First is our timer tonight. Our timer tonight is Sean Sui. Please help me welcome Sean.
Thank you, and thank you, Lee. I will be timing everyone with this timer right here. At the minimum time, the timer will turn green. Midway through the allotted time, it will turn yellow. When it turns red, that is the end of the allotted time, and you'll have 30 seconds before it starts blinking angry red.
Thank you, Sean. And next is our counter, Kenzie Graves. Please help me welcome Kenzie.
Hi, everyone. Today I'll be counting filler words such as and, so, like, you get the picture. And I will give you a report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenzie. And next is our grammarian. Our grammarian tonight is Ellie.
I'm not sure what I should say.
Let me help you out here. As grammarian, Ellie will be keeping track of interesting phrases, interesting ways to express whatever. And she will also be introducing the word of the day. So as a result, I will introduce her. I was going to try to work the word of the day in, but I missed it. What is the word of the day, Ellie?
The word of the day today is dilatory. It's an adjective that can be used to intend to cause delay or wasting time or procrastinating. Next, I'm going to say some examples where you use this word. His client was late, so the lawyer pulled out dilatory tactics to stall. And another example would be cleaning his room was just a dilatory effort to avoid studying. Yeah, I hope to hear this word on your presentations and speech today.
Thank you, Ali. That concludes our introduction for the functionaries. And next is our first section, the prepare speech. Today we have 2 speakers. And before we start introduce the speaker, Sean, can I have the timing rule for the prepare speech?
Absolutely. The prepared speeches will have 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, this screen will turn green. At 6 minutes, it will turn yellow. At 7 minutes, it will turn red, and then you'll have 30 seconds to wrap it up. Back to you.
Great, thank you. And now please help me welcome our first speaker, Laura.
Thank you. Steve, do you mind allowing me to share my screen?
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Should be a PowerPoint. Perfect.
Yeah.
So when I first came across this topic, I was very stumped and hesitant because I never really considered myself a leader. But I thought, instead of not being as interested in it as previous speeches, I thought I could use it as an opportunity to kind of reframe that perspective I have on myself and learn from some of the greats. So at work, I am an account manager and a project manager. And when I reach out to Steve, he mentioned that even as a manager, I am a leader. So in that sense, as both of those roles, I lead my internal teams in Los Angeles and London to get things done for our clients. I also started a music club, and while the members don't work under me like they do at work, I lead them in the music that they listen to, and I lead them to good music. So I started to browse the internet and try to find some inspiration. And what I found was that everyone has their own opinion on what makes a good leader, what not to do. So today I will share with you 3 insights that I learned. So we have first Brené Brown, who is one of my favorites. If you're unfamiliar with her, she is a researcher, professor, lecturer, author, podcast host. And she defines a leader as anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and has the courage to develop that potential. For those that are familiar with Brené Brown, her number 1 thing is always be vulnerable. How to practice vulnerability in your life, your workplace. And so for her, a leader's capacity to lead depends on how willing they are to be vulnerable, put themselves out there, and be courageous. I could definitely do more of this at work when it comes to my one-on-ones with my boss, where I find myself not fully sharing what I'm thinking about our internal teams and internal processes. So that's definitely something I could lean into to become a better leader. But I am proud to say that with my music club, I am practicing vulnerability much more. I originally have a monthly newsletter that I do for all members free. And to take it one step further, I decided to launch a new weekly paid newsletter on Substack. I knew that my dad and boyfriend would, sign up, and I was okay with just them being the only paid members, but I'm glad and proud of myself that I decided to still launch it. And since launching earlier this month, I now have 7 paid members. The next name that kept on popping up was Simon Sinek. He's a British American author and inspirational speaker. For him, leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of those in your charge. And for him, he believes that it's important to start with the why. I think we're so focused on how we do things, what are we going to do, that we lose insight of the why. And he explains that the why could be, what is your purpose? What is your cause? Basically, what motivates you? And why should anyone care? And that if the leader doesn't know the why, then how are they supposed to inspire the organization? I have to admit that I'm still trying to find my why in my job. And it's been I feel like a decade-long search. But I'm excited to share that I have found my why with Music Club, which is why I think I have been gravitating to it more naturally. For Music Club, my why is that I want to make it easy for people to find music and good music. And I also want to provide the right music for the right setting. That's something I kind of strive for, is that feeling when you're listening to a song exactly at the right moment, and it just feels very spot on. Lastly, you can't talk about leadership without mentioning Tony Robbins. He is an American author, coach, and speaker. For him, leadership is the ability to inspire a team to achieve a certain goal. And for him, the number way to go about this is your ability to influence others. And he made sure to point out that it's not the way you want to be influenced, but it's important to focus on how the people under you respond to influence. And to do that, you have to get to know them, what are their goals, dreams, fears, so that way you're kind of catering your message in a way that will make them receptive. And for me, for Music Club, I personally listen to all types of music, but I know not everyone does. And so I'm starting to cater my music that I'm providing based on people's listening habits. So if they like a certain genre or this or that, I'm tailoring it to what they like versus what I like. And so for those in the group that identify as leaders, I hope you've found something inspirational and helpful. And I think for those like myself that wouldn't necessarily lump themselves as a leader yet, I hope you found some inspiration to view yourself as one. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Great speech. Sean, can I have 2 minutes for speaker notes? And everyone, please write your notes and send to Laura in private message, direct message on Zoom.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Thanks a lot. I just been told that my audio has some issues, so they can't hear me last week. So just want to check the quality of my audio.
You're coming through loud and clear.
Oh, okay, thanks.
We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Hello, good
There you
afternoon. This is Belle from Beijing. It's been 9:30 a.m. Friday in my time.
Welcome.
Lucky you, it's Friday already.
Welcome.
Yeah, I suppose it might be some connection quality which happened last week because there's rainstorming in Beijing. I suppose it might be lightning or thunder affects my router seriously. So
No.
everyone told me they can hear me.
Yep, you're great. Thanks.
Great. Now the time is up. And here is our second speaker. Please help me welcome Somas.
Thank you, Lee. Okay. Every one of us have seen or heard of different traditions or cultural events all around the world in different countries. People spending money, time, and energy to celebrate these traditions. But why they do so? I think the traditions and cultural events are very important because they can distribute the sense of belongings. They can show us the principles that our founding fathers had, and they help us to unite as a country and be connected. Today, I'm going to talk about an Iranian rich ancient tradition, which is Nowruz. But what is Nowruz? Nowruz is the very first day of spring. It is the time that everywhere is green, full of flowers. Not only the nature is renewing itself, but the solar year is changing. How Iranian people are celebrating this day? Usually Iranian people set up a beautiful table. We call this table haft sin. It's a Persian word. If I want to translate this word into English, I would say seven stand for haft stand for number 7, and sin stand for letter S. Let me share my screen. Here's the table that I was talking about. On this table, you can see a couple of different items. You think they are random items? No, they are not. They are meaningful items. Let me show you what we have on this table. We do have 7 items. You can see the name of this stuff in Farsi, and then at the bottom, you can see the name in English. Let's start with samanu. Samanu, it is wheat pudding. Wheat pudding is a sweet thing. It is the symbol of the sweetness of the life. And it is the symbol of fertility. Then we have sir. Sir is garlic. It is the symbol of health in my country. When we put sir on this half-sin table, it means that we wish each other a year full of health. Then we do have senjet. Senjet is lettuce tree fruit. It is the symbol of love. And then we have sirke, which is vinegar. Vinegar is the symbol of patience and aging. If you want to make vinegar at home, you have to wait long time. And that is the reason it is the symbol of patience. We have somak, which is berry spice. Berry spice is the symbol of sunrise. And then apple. Apple is the symbol of beauty. And at last, we do have sabze. Sabze is wheatgrass. It is the symbol of renewal, regrowth, and rebirth. So all these things all together will create half-sin table. We do care a lot about these traditions because it reminds all Iranian people of whatever we have in common. And also, it is the symbol of the United Nation of peace, human rights, and dignity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Great speech. Sean, can I have 2 minutes for speaker notes? Thank you. Everyone, please write your speaker notes and send to Samas in direct message on Zoom.
Steve. Steve is the general evaluator.
Yes, and the first evaluator.
Time is up. Now is our second portion of the meeting, the evaluation session of the meeting. One of the benefits joining Toastmasters is not just you can practice your speech, but you can also get immediate constructive feedback from our experienced speaker. Please help me welcome our general evaluator tonight, Steve Evans.
Thank you very much, Lee. First of all, let's go to Sean and talk about the timing rules for evaluations.
Yes. For evaluation, at 2 minutes, the timer will turn green. At 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it will turn yellow. And when it's 3 minutes, it will turn red, and then we'll have 30 seconds to wrap up.
Thank you very much. Well, without any further deleterious delays, let's jump into this evaluation of Laura's speech. This was a pathway speech. It was about understanding your leadership style. And you gave an interesting speech with essentially using the advice of other, what we might call inspiring leaders, the first being Brene Brown, the second Simon Sinek, and the third Tony Robbins. So these are all very credible leaders. And it was interesting. I think we were all able to take something away from your approach. And hopefully we're inspired to become better leaders by what they had to say. This is a Pathways project which really specifically talks about your leadership style. And I know off the top you said that you really don't consider yourself a leader. However, you are, we all are. This depends upon the situation. And I think what you might have done is delve a little bit more into what your leadership style could be. And the idea of the project is that how your leadership style translates to those you are leading and meshing, if you want to look at it that way, with their leadership style, and how it really is advantageous if you understand various styles, because it gives you an idea of how you can work successfully with other people. I think this is a great assignment because there are all kinds of stories you can tell about bosses you've worked with or people you've dealt with or teachers or whatever, which were either inspirational or they were horrible. And I think that there are a lot of examples that you can use about leadership, how it's done well, how it could be done better. And the important thing, I think, is for you to understand, and for all of us to understand, how there isn't one specific set way to do this. And people look at this in different ways. So if you are going to be an effective leader, you have to understand how people like to be led. And that really takes some doing, I think. So if you were to do it again, I would suggest that you really personalize it and make it something that is yours, and talk specifically about your leadership style. And then you can give examples of the various styles, which would be inclusive for the audience, because when you start talking about various personalized leadership styles, people think, I wonder what my style is and how I fit into this. So it would be a way to include that in the audience in what you're talking about. The other thing you might think about is, this goes, I think, for everybody, and I'll say it again like a broken record, it is to provide the Toastmaster with an intro, which can do so much of the heavy lifting and set the stage for whatever you want to talk about. And that way, once Lee has introduced this project and what it's going to be about, then you can just jump right in and take it right off the top, saying, I'd ever considered myself a leader, but here are the things that I have learned, and then jump right into it which would immediately, you hit the ground running, if I can put it that way. The other thing I would think about, this is something I was thinking about the other day too, is that what we all might try to do, and I might try to do this, is think and practice charades. And this might be something that we do in the club. And I was just thinking, because we're all in Zoom and we're all in our little frame here, how would we play a game of charades? And this might be something we experiment, like I say, in a future meeting. But what it would force you to do is think about how you could express everything that you're talking about with body language only, and help you incorporate that sort of thing in your speech as well. But once again, I think we had a good conversation and a very interesting presentation about leadership. I think we were all able to take something away, and we certainly look forward to your next effort.
Thank you, Steve.
Our next evaluator, evaluating Solma's speech, will be Sean Chu.
Thank you, Steve. I'm going to attempt to walk and chew gum here. Let's give this a go. Solmaz, I liked the lead into your speech. It was good. It was interesting. I think that the idea of being able to appreciate different cultures and it being an enriching experience is a very universal thing that everything would be better for. I thought your example was good, where you started with a holiday or an event. I didn't catch that entirely, but I thought the example was good. It was something that everyone can relate to because everyone celebrates different holidays. Everyone has different traditions around the holidays. So I really liked that. I do think that it went a bit deep into the specific items that you had listed out on the slide for a speech that was about appreciating different cultures. Perhaps if the speech were about the holiday or event, then it would be good to go that deep into the items there. But I think for a speech about different cultures and different appreciations, perhaps going into other things about your culture or other cultures would have been good to be able to spread it out a little more over different events. Technical aspects, I thought your vocal variety was good. I thought it was really good, actually. I would love to hear you dictate audiobooks, as was the pace of your speaking. The pace that you speak at is good. I liked you did periodic eye contact, which I really liked, and maybe could use a little bit more, but the times that I did see you make eye contact with the camera was very good. And aside from that, the last item that I had noticed was maybe a little bit more use of your hands and body language, just something to reach for in future speeches. But overall, very well done. I liked following it and I liked hearing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you.
Okay, I'll now turn it back over to our Toastmaster. I will be back later with a full evaluation of the meeting. Lee?
Thank you. Thank you, Steve. And next is our table topic session. Today, our table topics master is Lo Hurtado. Lo is a former two-time club president and VP of PR. He is also a motion designer for all sorts of technology companies such as Hulu, Sony, and other fruit-related tech companies. Today, he's your dutiful table topics speaker. Please help me welcome Lou.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Hello, everybody. We've come to the our favorite part of the meeting. I think we're all chomping at the bit here, trying to get to the front of the line. Don't worry, everyone's going to get a turn. I'm pretty sure everyone will probably get two turns at this. All right. Starting with my first question. Do you own your things, or do your things own you? Do you own your things, or do your things own you? Something to ponder. I'm going to start with Kenzie.
Hello, everyone. Do I own my things? Do my things own me? Do I wear my clothes, or do my clothes wear me? And if I'm being real, I think most days I feel like my clothes are wearing me. I'm not wearing my clothes. I just like survival, you know, just like I have to put on clothes to like leave the house. And I don't know, I feel like to claim my space, I definitely want to get more organized in my personal areas of my apartment. And that's a challenge when there's a lot of things going on, like school and work and all those things. And I have a lot more time this past week. I work at an elementary school, and so I'm out for the summer and I have a summer job and all that stuff, but the summer job hasn't really started yet. So I think this is a good time to start to go through my things and like, what's her name? Marie Kondo, and touch my things and see if they spark joy and let go of some things. So that'll be a little mission for the end of this weekend, next week, hopefully. Thanks for the question, Lou.
Thank you, Kenzie. Let's start it off very deaf poetry slam kind of a thing. I like that. That was good. Good tempo. Okay, moving forward. Would you rather lose all of your old memories or never be able to make new ones? It's a tough one. I know, right? Would you rather lose all of your old memories or never be able to make new ones? I'm going to go with Slim Pick. Ellie.
Thank you for the question, Lou. Would I never be able to make new memories to keep the ones that I have so far? This reminds me of other question about if I would rather listen to all the music that has been done so far or only the new music. With the music, the answer is easy for me. I would definitely go with the old music. With the memories, however, it's a little bit different. As much as I have enduring memories, I don't believe that our memory is actually something to be trusted on that much. Our memories fade. And yeah, someone could even say that the time goldens the memories. So my answer would be that I would choose the new memories that are up and coming, and I would love to embrace the people, my loved ones, that I already have made the memories with also in the future, and just make more beautiful memories with them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. I agree. I would rather focus on making new memories. Forget the past. It's a weight off your shoulders. Okay, next question. What do you imagine yourself doing 10 years from now? I know 10 years seems like a long time, but what do you imagine yourself doing 10 years from now? Let's go with Laura.
That's a good question for me because I tend to get very overwhelmed when I get asked those types of questions. I feel like some people are really good at future forward thinking and kind of using that to work their way backwards to turn their current life into that. For me, I kind of just get overwhelmed, but I think it's a good question. 10 years from now, I think at the moment I'm really enjoying the music club that I'm running. So it'd be great if that would be my full-time job and source of income and become something more than just a newsletter, which I think it has the potential to do. So I think that would be my main focus. I would love to be able to work and travel whenever I want and have that flexibility. And so kind of cultivating a lifestyle around that. I'm not sure if kids are in the picture. I'm kind of TBD on that. My mom doesn't seem to like that answer, but I guess we'll have to see on that. But yeah, I would say in 10 years, I think I want to be pursuing my why.
Lovely. Thank you, Laura, for that wonderful answer. Real quick, I've been starting to journal, and I have two journals. One of them is like the present tense, which is like the past, where I just kind of like complain about my life. And then the other one is like a future journal where I talk about what I want the future to be like. And it's surprisingly difficult to think of new things to talk about, because your life happens and you can just journal away. But to journal about the future is kind of a weird mind creative thing, but it's good for intention. Moving forward. What would you like to accomplish before the end of the year? What would you like to accomplish before the end of the year? Let's go with Sean.
Thank you for the question. Before the end of the year, I would like to accomplish keeping my job. I started a new job in March. I'm moving in about 2 or 3 weeks. I'd like to have a new home established. And I'd like to also learn a new web dev language that I've been keeping on the back burner. I don't have a good habit of sticking to one thing. I enjoy way too many things. So that third one is been on the back burner for some time. The moving, that's pretty achievable. I could see that. And as far as keeping my job, it looks good so far. I do need to put in a lot of hours, but those are the main things, and continuing to be a good father to my son. Thanks.
Lovely. Thank you, Sean. I also have trouble learning new technologies. I basically lie anytime I'm in an interview and say I know the technology, and then they're like, oh, do you know this or that? I'm like, oh yeah, I've been doing that for years. And then they're like, okay, cool, you're hired. And I'm like, oh crap, now I have to like learn this over the weekend. So this is my little tip. Okay. If it all came back around to you, would it help you or hurt you? If it all came back around to you, would it help you or hurt you? Solmaz?
Lou, I wish you didn't call my name. I didn't get the question.
Yeah, I can repeat it. If it all came back around to you, like life energy, that kind of a thing, would it help you or hurt you?
Life energy, you mean something karma?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Would it be helping me or
hurting you?
Would it or hurting? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Actually, I do believe in not having a guilty conscience. Every day, I'm trying to be careful to not annoy people around me, and do whatever I can, as far as I can, to help people around me. So sometimes I made mistakes. It is normal. Definitely, I annoyed people or did something bad. But it is my goal and intention to not to do that. So it was whatever I have done, if it was bad, was unintentional. So it is the way that I can easily sleep at night with like clean conscious. So I think if I consider my intention, yes, it's gonna be helping me. Thank you.
Great answer. Thank you so much. I watched this movie when I was a kid called Defending Your Life with Albert Brooks. It's like a late 80s, early 90s movie. And ever since then, it just stuck in my head that I'm going to have to defend all of my actions later on. Definitely really good movie if you guys haven't seen it. Really good movie. Do we have time for one more or are we good? One more? Okay. What's the best part of growing older? What's the best part of growing older? Steve? You know,
Gee, why would I get this
I
question?
know exactly.
Well, one of the great things about growing older is growing old. I mean, considering the alternative, you do tend to appreciate whatever time you may have left. I think you develop a certain sort of wisdom, and you also are able to look back over your life and realize that you've learned a few things along the way. I think the people that say, oh, I wouldn't change a thing, I have no regret, that's crazy. That means you just weren't paying attention. And I think that one of the great things about living through life is that you are able to learn as you go. And as you get older, you should become better at whatever you are doing. I think you can become a better person. And also a lot of the things that you worried about when you were younger, you don't worry about when you get older because they just aren't simply that important anymore. So there is a certain amount of wisdom. Another great thing about it, especially if you happen to have kids, is that you get a chance to watch them grow, you get a chance to watch them develop. And if you are fortunate enough to have grandchildren, then it is even a more rewarding experience. And I think one of the things that I guess the main thing you learn is that you should try to enjoy every moment if you possibly can. And you learn that gratitude is probably one of the most amazing talents, amazing things that you can develop. If you can really learn to appreciate everything there is to appreciate about life, then it really, I think, is a wonderful talent, a wonderful thing that you can learn. And that is probably one of the great things about getting older.
Wonderful, wonderful answer, Steve. Thank you for that. I think I can speak for everybody. I think we all needed that. So I appreciate you. With that, I leave you. Thank you so much for letting me be your table topic speaker. We'll back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Lo. Great questions, and all the speakers did great. And now, please help me welcome back our general evaluator, Steve Evans, to
Why
give.
don't we do the other reports first, and I will wrap things up at the end. Okay, would that be okay? Sure. Okay.
So, Kenzie, can I get the R counter report?
You sure can, Lee. Okay, so Laura had 2 ums, 2 ands, 1 so. So Maz had 2 ums, 5 ands, and 1 like, 1 repeat. Sean had 2 ums, 1 and, 1 repeat. And you were doing this thing where you would like stretch out a vowel like or I, like thinking, pondering, just something to be conscious of. And then Lou did 2 ums and 1 and 1 like. And Ellie did 3 ums, 1 and 1 so. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kenzie. And next, Ellie, can I get the grammarian report?
Yeah, regarding the day of the word dilatory, I was happy to hear at least used once by Steve. And I didn't catch anyone else using the word, but if they did, good job. Apologies for not catching it. And yeah, overall, I don't have any critical feedback on the grammar used during this meeting, but it also can be because I'm not native speaker. So I might not catch all grammar errors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Now is our last portion of the meeting, the general evaluation of the whole meeting. Please help me welcome back Steve Evans.
Thank you, Lee. I think it's terrific that we had 2 Pathways speeches tonight. And I want to congratulate Solmaz and Laura for stepping up and doing the Pathways speech and assuming and taking on those assignments. Two really well-constructed, interesting speeches. Also, I want to thank everybody else for jumping in and taking on a role that they weren't planning on taking on. Lou and Sean and Ellie and anybody else that I may be missing. So thank you very much for that. Hopefully, we're going to be able to go through in a moment the agenda for next week. We'll be able to nail everything down so things are a little more solidified when we go into our meeting next week. But that is my general evaluation. Oh, one more thing. If you are speaking next week, make sure that you get your intro to the Toastmaster, which makes everything run a lot smoother. And like I say, it really does a lot of the heavy lifting and sets the stage for you and gets you ready to go. Okay, that's it. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you, Steve. Now I'll turn the control back to our president, Steve Evans.
And it's me again. Okay, let's talk about next week and who can do what. I put down Elizabeth Kelly as our Toastmaster. Was she here last week? I'm going to leave her there and see if we can. If not, we'll we'll find another person for Toastmaster. Would anybody like to be Toastmaster next week? Lou, are you going to be around next week or not?
Unfortunately, I won't know.
Okay. Anybody? Okay. We'll leave Elizabeth there and we'll see how it goes. Laura, would you be Table Topics Master next week? Okay. I am going to be speaking. Ellie is going to be, will you be delivering your icebreaker next week, Ellie?
I can.
Great. And here's what I'd like to have, I'd like to have you do. Drop by study hall and we can help you put it together, okay? And if you have it together, you can run through it. And it's a great way really to familiarize yourself with the material and get comfortable in front of the Zoom group. I'm going to put Shar down as an evaluator. Stephen Evanson, has he been here lately? Okay, I'll reach out to him. I'm going to put him down as evaluator too. Can you be our timer next week, Kenzie? Okay, Solmaz, would you be our grammarian? You've done that before, right? Good. Yeah. Let's see. Lee, would you be our counter next week?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Thought for the day, I put Mariah down and Joke Master Levi. Has he been here lately? Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'll put that down as well. So that would complete our agenda. And I'll get that off to Karan.
Who's chief evaluator again?
Oh, Sean, could you be our chief evaluator? Okay, good. Thank you. Are you inputting that, Lou?
Yeah, I just put it in. We're good.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay. So that is that. Are we missing anything? I guess not. I think we've done. Oh, yes, the picture. All right. Do you want to do that, Lou, or should I?
I'll do it. Fine. No problem.
Here we go.
I mean, it's been a bit.
You have to count down, of course.
Yeah, go ahead and count it down.
We want to make sure everybody looks like they're having the time of their lives. It doesn't get any better than this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Hey.
Okay, got it.
We did it. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you all at study hall on Tuesday night. All right. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.